Welcome to GlenCon Online Learning and Development Conference for Q1 2026. We're still aiming to have one of these every quarter, and so far we've hit that target. I'm your moderator for today, Robbie Bankel. I spoke at the last GlenCon, you may remember, and if you didn't, you can go back and watch the recording on the YouTube. There is a lovely QR code on the screen here that if you were to scan, you can join the GLEN group on LinkedIn, which is the Gothenburg Learning and Education Network. We're trying to grow this as a networking place for learning professionals or people interested in lifelong learning. So please join if you get the opportunity. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers, once again, with varied industries, backgrounds, and topics they're going to talk about, all very interesting stuff. And to start with, let's hope we have a good connection from our first speaker joining us from Turkey today due to travel restrictions, and that is Margarita. Take it away, Margot.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Yes, if I disappear, I'm sorry, but I'll try not to. So what we are going to discuss today is a fun topic, literally. It's humor in learning, something I am a big fan of. I wrote it from useful tricks to inappropriate jokes because both can happen when you try humor. So let's get into that. First of all, just in case, I am a colleague of Robbie. I'm a learning lead at Sigma. And I've been here for over 4 years, and these are some of the companies that I worked with, and I will be showing a couple of examples from these customers that I work with, related to humor. I think one of the most important ideas when we talk about humor and jokes is that it's not for everyone, it's not for every situation, not for every context, and it's okay. Like, I know about myself that sometimes I don't understand jokes or cannot make very good ones. And then it's better not to try. Like, if you're not sure, it's fine. Plus, there are, of course, topics that are not like appropriate for jokes. So if you want to take anything out of this session is if you're not sure, don't joke. Just be neutral, serious, and then you will always be safe. But of course, if you can make joke work for you, it can be amazing. Because why humor works. So there are multiple studies. I have very short time about it now, but I'll tell you that positive emotions help learning. To be fair, any emotions help learning, like any strong emotions help learning, but positive ones also leave like a good, aftertaste. But also, if you learn something when you're super stressed or scared, might have a similar memory effect. So because of this engagement, it increases attention and retention, which means people, keep coming, remembering, going. In educational psychology, positive emotions also improve memory formation. Nice tip how to learn a word that you might not remember in like a second language that you're learning is try to yell it out loud. You'll get like scared from yourself and then you probably will remember. For me, it was word ubiquitous. I was like, ubiquitous. And then I remembered what it is. It means something that appears all the time, every day. Anyways, so that's why it's cool. I want to show you an example. This is an example from Duolingo that, of course, you've probably all heard about. It's very good with the push-up notifications, different like funny sentences and messages. So this one it's simple, Spanish or vanish. That went viral. I think they have like a video on YouTube with music about that. And of course, their mascot, this owl. This is an example of really, really good PR and marketing. So they have special style. They're not playing it safe. They actually lean into this like relatable humor, pop culture, sometimes even controversy that we'll talk about. And they really understand how the internet works. So that's why they are so popular, and they are doing this edutainment kind of thing, which makes you smile, which makes you have like positive thoughts, and which makes it very personal. You feel like you're really, talking to someone. It doesn't work for everyone, as I said. Nothing works for everyone, and different types of humor, but their reminders and strict incentives and progress and everything that is gamified is very effective. So that's an example of good humor, so to speak, in corporate learning. Or as I say, if it doesn't harm, it's already good enough. At the very least, when you use jokes, try to, not make big mistakes, so to speak. So the best performing humor types in corporate context would be relatable work situations, For example, oh, this system will simplify the process, meaning instead of 5 steps, there will be 7 now. Yeah, just like everyone else. Very safe, very safe. Could be better, but it's very safe. Number 2, questionable, but sometimes works well, self-deprecating humor. So if you can laugh at yourself, people usually can like relate to you. Again, not to the point of humiliating yourself, but just like being kind of, oh, I tested this training on my colleagues first. They survived. Like, exactly. Light observational humor, for example, something about, oh, we all know that the reply all button has caused more panic than most cybersecurity threats. Things like that. So this is like short, natural, situational, and of course it should be like just spread a little bit around your, whatever it is, course, speech, or training. Now let's take a look at this. I want to ask in the chat or with like reactions, does anyone know what this is? What this, you can put thumbs up or write in the chat. And Robbie, if somebody writes, please let me know. This is a screen from an ad. I'm helping you out. Okay, somebody heard. Okay. So this ad is from 20, yeah, very good. Somebody knows exactly what it is. This ad, for those who don't know, is from 2017. It's the infamous Pepsi ad with Kendall Jenner. And it's an example of a failure in terms of like humor or lightheartedness. So they were showing how this girl is sharing like a Pepsi bottle with a police officer during protest, and everything was shown in a very, very lighthearted manner, like as if protesting is very easy, and it was during Black Lives Matter. So this was taken very badly, especially because she's white and everything was shown on that. So it only stayed online for a day. They apologized profoundly, and even though it seemed like a good idea, let's promote, peace and friendship and stuff, was not taken very well, because when it comes to politics or anything that is cultural, political, religious, stereotypical, this is very, of course, dangerous. So I want to show you just a couple of examples from my experience of how different companies use humor, in case you're wondering how it's all applicable in the real world. For example, Toyota, where I'm working right now with a customer, Toyota Material Handling, they are quite conservative company in terms of humor, because their image is like we're a loyal, stable, reliable company, So yeah, you cannot be like super funky with that, because that's not their image, right? But of course, still, when you talk about internal learning, you can do a little bit of ironic, slightly humble, funny jokes. So for example, here, this is just slightly ironic, where it's a customer, it's a sales training. So salesperson talking to a customer, and there are 2 options you can choose. Either you can choose to say to the customer, oh, the market very badly, and then she would reply to you, rude. Or you can say something nice. So something like this, like even when you're not supposed to use humor at all, at least like with face expression, with just the fact that you have to click options, that really livens up training. If you work for a company where there is usually nothing like that, it's all serious, it lightens the mood. Another company I worked for, Link & Co., very different situations. They had this very startup-ish mood, energy. So they had a lot of witty remarks. For example, this thing about, oh, this is the how's it called, the compartment where you can keep your secret chocolate stash or your sunglasses, or despite the name, it's not only for glove compartment, and so on. So these kind of companies, they might even, I wrote that. It's in the car guide for car 2022. You can find it on the website. So things like that really appeal, like you remember something quirky. But of course, in the chapters of the car guide, when it came to safety, security, you get into accident, there was nothing like that. To conclude, practical tips. Make sure that your humor is relevant to the topic. Don't make the joke just for the sake of the joke. We're past that. We're corporate learning people. Test jokes with colleagues first. Really important. You cannot imagine how much it helps. Just take 2 colleagues, preferably different ages, genders, something diverse. Try it. Just try it. There are even websites, AI things, just Google, there are a lot of them, that you can test it with, or like forums post. Really, I think it's called like testyourjoke.com, something like that. At least try that. no sensitive topics, just better safe than sorry, especially if you're a huge corporation. No politics, no religion, nothing like that. Check company communication policy just to see what's their, take on that, what's their vibe. And if you're not sure, just don't use jokes, don't use humor, use stories, relatable situations, something like that, which Gorki will be talking about actually today quite a lot. And you'll be golden. It's not all about jokes. I think that's it. And this is my LinkedIn if you want to connect, ask questions, or share. And well, you have like 1.5 minutes for questions if somebody wrote. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Margot. Excellent stuff. So I have a question to kick things off while we wait. If anyone has any questions, they're going to add in the chat. I think I know the answer to this question, but have you ever pitched a joke or something humorous to a customer that they shot down or rejected?
Oh, yes, on a weekly basis.
Anything safe for work that you can share?
Well, mostly it would be something where, for example, I know that some part of software or machine or something is not working properly and is full of bugs, and I would make a joke about that. And even if it's for internal training, it might be not very good image for the company, and everyone would laugh at the, when I'm presenting it at the team meeting, but then we cannot put it in the final training. Yeah.
So self-deprecating on a personal level, but not on a company level.
Yeah. Yes. That's a very good tip. Yeah. Or, I mean, there might be companies up for it, but not very few.
And one quick question here. I'm not so humorous person. Any tips for writing? I didn't write that one. Of course, you know that, Margot.
Yeah, I say relatable stories, like the last tip on the previous slide. Just tell about your experience, because as I said, it doesn't have to be like laughter or this kind of emotion. Any emotion that is like deep enough, it will touch your audience, your learner, and it could be empathy, it could be happiness, joy, curiosity, sadness, even if it's like a sad story, why not? So yeah, just tell stories and you'll be good.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on now. People can still write questions for Margot that we might have time for at the end if there's anything else that comes up. We're going to move on now to our next speaker, Johan Johnsson from Volvo Group.
Perfect. So interesting to follow the topic actually. Does humor work or not? So hopefully this will fly or not fly. So I will speak about immerse reality today and how we work within Volvo. I work as a digital product area owner and a digital product owner. We have a long title at Volvo. Within the mobile and XR team, Volvo Group Digital Technology and Operations. So we're supporting the Volvo Group with these different types of XR initiatives. And to the right, we have my beautiful family, not in Seychelles, but in Thailand. So starting off in these connecting it to the training frameworks. So most of you are familiar with these frameworks, right? We have Bloom's taxonomy, we have Kirkpatrick's model, and we have the know, think, feel, do. So if we then look at it from a VR point of view and where we see it actually, it creates an impact. So if we zoom into the know, think, feel, do, it stands for know, think, feel, do, and it's a learning and behavior change framework that focus on cognitive, emotional, and behavior progression. So again, zooming into that, that's the topic for today, actually how to use emotions to create like a trigger for good learning and a good change. And this methodology has been proven to actually is a good model too when it comes to XR and VR technologies. So that's why it's interesting to bring it back. So you all know this probably, so I will not spend too much time on that. But if we move on and then putting VR into a context as well, a lot of theory in the beginning. XR stands for extended reality, so moving from augmented reality into virtual reality. So augmented reality is, for example, when you have like a mobile phone or an iPad and you put a digital layer on top of the physical world. And then we have the virtual reality, which is a full immerse experience, and that's where you go in and you can actually meet people from all over the world in an immersed space, more or less. So you can be in Gothenburg, you can be in Bankel, or you can be in a factory. So it's all immersed and all fictive, you could say. Why choosing these as examples now when it comes to emotions is that when using virtual reality, as I say, you are blocking senses out, so you focus on you are all in one common new environment. So you don't have like the input and distractions from from the real world, and so actually you meet up in a completely empty or like a neutral space, you could say. So the two examples that I would like to share with you today on what we've been working on together with different parts in the Volvo Group organizations is one connected to product launch at Volvo Truck side, and the other one is training, where we have been working together with TTI and Volvo Group University when it comes to traffic safety. And if we then move and focus on the product launch part. So putting that in a context and what it is, the opportunity and pain point, and this was initiated actually as early as in 2013, when a new launch was about to be presented on Volvo Truck side. They didn't have trucks for all the different markets for the launch as normal. So I think it's 30 up to 40 sites, countries actually that actually are should be launched to. So they were asking, okay, can we use VR or some extra technology to actually use to promote this launch and actually get access to the product itself? So that was the background and pain point. So with that, we collaborated with Volvo Trucks marketing and sales company, and also with competence development, and developed an application that was used in the launch events, in the different dealer sites, in the different markets. So people had a chance to experience the truck with actually the physical truck itself. And so if we look at the impact of that, it was used in the VIP customer events. It was used in the different dealer sites. So over 2,000 of the VIP customer has been using this, and it's been really well received. So as I said, I mean, they experience the product, and then again, that's key to keeping the customers and being brand loyal. They got like a perception and brand recognition, and the value word converted was into experience on the look and feel. And I think that's the bridge to the next slide. So that's actually what we did. Some bullets on how we use VR to create emotions to trigger learning impact, and there are some more than this, but I try to keep it simple. One is to connect it very close to the narrative, actually what was coming from the marketing and brand and the other types of launch storytelling. So the storytelling as such, I mean, extremely important to use in this and bring that into the VR experience. Everything from actually using the desert in the background, using the environment, using kind of like the box shape, focusing on the product, using the same audio, the same video. So again, that's extremely important when it comes to the launch, because this was the first time for many customers that they would see this product. High quality 3D, extremely important to create an emotion in this, because Volvo Trucks is a premium brand. And now moving this into VR, we cannot only just add a component like our truck. I mean, it needs to reflect the quality that it has. We also use like social design in this, you could say, because you are in this experience, you can be up to 10 people. So you have like a salesperson, and that is presenting this and guiding people through this experience. So you are, as a salesperson, controlling the narrative as well of what you want to focus on. But also you're meeting up as avatars, different people, it can be from all over the world. And you can speak and you can see this product together, which also engage and kind of like emphasizes the strength of this premium brand. And then, I'm not sure if it's a good title or not, but reset impressions and open senses. What does it mean? So in this experience, we designed it to actually, when you start off, actually you are put in a dark room. You see the Volvo logo and you see the host and you see the other avatars. You don't see any products. And the reason for that design is actually to kind of like reset everything, every impression that you have, fully immersed in a dark room. So you meet other people, and then you do the reveal. So you present the truck itself, and then you can like get them in the right mood to say. So that's the user design. Focus on product experience. Again, everything from hand tracking to interactions and UX. I mean, to keep it extremely slim and lean. To focus on the product, also kind of like engaging the premium quality. So moving inside the truck, for example, I mean, focus on what is like the new infotainment system, the CMS and so on. And VR is by default a fun factor. So, I mean, just when you bring a couple of headsets, that's kind of like, yes, people like starts to open up, and then you get them in the right mood and say, yes, I want to try VR. That sounds cool, right? So it's not to be forgotten. And here are some people. I think they are, I'm not sure what they are pushing there, but let's move on. A small promo just to get a sense on actually how it looks in VR. So
we get together
So difficult to share VR in as video format, right? But you get a sense on what it is. So very quickly when it comes to the other case, which is the traffic safety that we developed together with Volvo University and TTI. So background to this was to see can prevent work-related traffic accidents. Can VR be an effective technology to increase learning and behavior change? The solution that we developed here was an application that you are guided through this factory from A to C, and you should avoid to be hit by a truck, more or less. That's kind of like, and you have different distractions and using emotional elements to learn and kind of like see, how realistic that could be. So impact using VR to validate the safety and soft skills training, and it's fun and not mandatory. If I put it like very simple, like that. Very quick on that. What did the user say about this application? Very immersive, realistic, fun and playful. Well done. Quite realistic, not too long. First time I enjoyed the training session. More impactful than traditional training because you actually live the situation. The accident scenario was described as emotional, appropriate, physical, engaging, and memorable. So good and relevant feedback. So how do we use recognition and realism is super important because you need to feel that you are there, right? So we need to work on the Volvo assets and make sure that it's resembling in the real world. The relevance, a clear use case and relevant pain points, what actually are the distraction points. Single user experience in this case, because we want to have a control on what the user would react and get emotions to actually support the change. The accident as such, that's the tricky part, going back to as humor, right? Actually, how do we do this in a good way and an enough way, not scaring people off, but they should feel the accident. And then some quick takeaways. Think immerse, not linear, when doing the design and storytelling. Focus on quality. Engaging experience is created by people. There's a lot of products and platforms, but people are key. VR is full immersive, creating a better input than AR and MR. Can break old cultural and organizational patterns. Overcome distance and learning structures. Can be anywhere. And then we have some industrial more takeaways as well, but not really connected to emotions. So I think that's, maybe we can stay on that for sure. We asked ChatGPT as well. What do you say? And they always have an answer right. For the field part, it's a very strong, almost on time.
Super. Thank you so much, Johan. That's very interesting. You've got a lot of questions in the chat, so I'll pick one now to give to you, but hopefully you can answer some in the chat yourself. So from a practical perspective, if people want to start doing this, what is needed from the tech side to start offering VR learning training options to your global audience? What do you need to get started?
Try it out. I mean, to decide on a headset actually that you would like to kind of like choose, and then not do it mid-scale or say like maybe 5 to 10. I mean, VR headsets, and kind of like do start prototyping. Don't be afraid.
Excellent, good stuff. So yeah, if you could have a look at the questions in the chat and try to give some answers to some of those.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that, Johan. We will go on to our next speaker. AI is not the purpose, impact is, from Katarina from Ericsson.
Yes, so let me see. Let me move to the next slide immediately. Right, so hi everyone, and happy lunch to you, and I hope that you have had at least something, to eat. So my name is Katarina Noén. For my normal work, when I'm not here, then I'm head of learning for Ericsson, here in Sweden. So when Margot asked me to come here and discuss with you my peers, I would say in L&D, about my own journey, being more, I would say, immersed with AI, I said, okay, I can do that. It's a little bit scary, but I will do so. So that is what I intend to take you through, and hopefully you will get a few good tips and tricks, with you for your own work with helping your people to learn about AI. So I think this first one is really important. That is, AI is not the purpose, impact is. And if we have that as a starting point for this session, you know, I will take you through also the connection between this and also something called Ikigai, which is about your reason for being and the emotion that actually fuels transformation. Which is curiosity in my mind. And when we are going through this, you know, rapid technology, you know, changes, business reinvention, I actually don't think start with tools. It truly starts with emotionally engaged people who are curious enough to rethink how they can help to create value. So what I hope to do here now is to give you some personal insights and reflections, and please ask some questions also as we go along here, so we can, you know, have some interactivity about it as well. So let's move to the next slide here. Ikigai, I don't know, maybe hands up. How many has tried your own Ikigai? Ikigai is a Japanese concept. Good, we have melanin. yeah, perfect. Yeah, so it's a Japanese concept that is often translated into for a reason to being, or things that makes life worth living. And if you haven't tried that, you actually have an excellent coach probably at your fingertips, maybe not now, but if you go, for example, to ChatGPT and ask him, her to be your coach and help you to create your Ikigai or visualize your Ikigai. That's one way, you know, of doing that. And hopefully AI is not our reason to live, but hopefully a way, you know, for us to see, you know, what we want also to do less of in order to do the things that we truly love. Since, of course, AI is not only, you know, changing the work, it's changing the way, you know, who get the opportunity to create things in this new world. And I think you agree with me, but for a very long time, actually development was just meant for a very few people. So 99% of us couldn't really create, you know, anything in software development. But what happened now is really that the doors are completely wide open, and it's a talent revolution, in fact, where, you know, we in L&D or HR, I mean, we can build tools, or marketing can create products, or operations can create, you know, automate processes, which also means that we need to shift from higher capability to really unlock the capability. And here, of course, we in L&D have a huge role to play, and we need to sort of focus on developing those capabilities that helps everyone to do good problem framing and decision making and systems thinking, and of course what can release creativity. Because after all, you know, what makes me, me, and you, and if we compare that, you know, with AI just being AI, that is really where the big differences lays. And I would also argue that probably the fastest way to learn AI, at least that is what it has been for me, that is not to study it. And my journey is probably just a year long by now. It's about to build something that really matters. So I will jump into that now and show you some things. As I said, my journey started probably a little bit more now than a year ago. Then I actually had the opportunity to be invited to be a jury member at different hackathons that were focusing on AI in the business. And that was something that truly opened my eyes. And if you have an opportunity to attend those things or maybe organize them yourself, I really would recommend that, because that gave me perspectives outside what I've been doing myself inside my own company, you know, helping out, you know, with foundational courses or neural network courses or whatever it was. So that was, you know, a way to really see how the business got changed by this. Around Christmas time, I started to talk to somebody who really created, you know, emotions in me and willingness to truly get deeper into this. So yes, I studied a little bit. So I took that certifications. in advanced AI leadership. But I think what also really helped me is that I decided, even if I'm a complete rookie in this space, or almost a complete rookie, I will go out and share my ideas and what I've been doing and what I would love to do. And I will do that publicly to also force myself to learn more. And that is probably also why you see me here today. Last Sunday, though, that was another turning point that really, helped me to learn more. And I got invited to Lovable to develop on Lovable, and came out there with a fully functioning app, actually, for the fire brigade. And the interesting thing about that means that every one of us in L&D can do these things. That is my conclusion. And what's to come is, of course, many, many things, and things also, Johan, that you talked about, and how can we combine, AR, for example, AI, with XR. That is, of course, also an area that's interesting. Very quickly here, I just want to show you the first thing, and this may be something that you could consider for your own companies as well. Me and a colleague of mine in Telia, Temu, we come together and we brainstorm on how can we completely change the way how we actually get knowledge in our companies. So we have visualized, and we are on our way in our respective companies to develop knowledge hoovers. So imagine something that really soaks up all knowledge that you have in the company and create it to something more digestible and personalized. So that is one thing. A dream of mine for a long time, that has been about how can we truly tap into the tacit knowledge of our experts and create new knowledge about that. So I think AI here will help me with that dream. Another thing that came in very handy with an extremely long Swedish name, Lönetransparensdirektivet. I don't even know how to translate it, but inside that also is a really good opportunity for us in L&D, and in particular how we can use AI and conversational bots and all that to really help people to see their career paths. That would lead into at least a target that we have in Ericsson about mobility. So we should help our people to quickly be able to move from one role to another role. And then, of course, onboarding come to play, because everyone will be a newbie in that context. So that's a little bit about the internal things, more to come. But then my Fire Brigade app, which I have to say I am immensely proud of that I actually developed this. But this this is connected to a problem, I would say. They go out and they do fire inspections, use pen and paper, basically, and their mobile phone, for photos, and then they go back to the office and write up the different reports, and they have 2 different reports in this space. So what I did, I took that, created an app with their look and feel, and then you go in there and you get help. It's linked to the law book, what they have to write and so on. They put their perspectives, or they talk to it, and they will get the same thing. And then you can snap your photos, and it being moved over, to the office, and they can, in this case, still cut and paste it actually into the other report. But that is, of course, a question about a few minutes. What I've done, I put together some of the things and ideas when it comes to AI and AI in learning and our role in L&D here. I believe we need to go away from the talk that we hear all the time, about productivity. I think the only thing that increases is actually fear in our people, and, fear about what will happen to me with AI, replace my job, or being overwhelmed, this is basically moving too fast, or sending questions. Do I have technical skills enough? I think it is a much better deal to talk about impact per hour instead, and then see, what is happening here. Something that I'm sure you are looking into in your companies as well, but I also think we need to segment roles and not train everyone. It should, of course, be open to anyone who have an appetite, but we need to look at what we are doing here and what are we doing with our learning hours. And we talked about this, who really get the opportunity to create, and it's basically everyone can do this. An oldie, number 4, that is learning from inside work. And we have, I think in L&D, we work a lot with that, of course, to make sure the learning is practical that we provide. But now it's really a big shift. Big piece of learning, is happening inside the work. And since we talked also about emotions today, I think this emotions and where we need to help people, and we talked about it also before, about we need to help them with the problem framing and decision making and systems thinking and so on, and get away, from the fears, and help people to be so curious, that they actually can be. And again, thinking instead of asking how to, ask ourselves what impact should we create here. And it also, I think, gives us a really good opportunity about that it strengthens our human strength. But probably the most important one, that is the last one, and that is having the courage to start. And that is what I think every one of us need to do if you're not already on it. So my question back to you is actually, what will you start to do, and what will you start to build rather in today? And I see my time is up, so I will round it off for now, but you're of course very welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn, for example, and thank you very, very much for being here today.
Thank you, Katarina. That's excellent. We've got a couple of questions in the chat already, and we've got a few minutes to get into some of them. So first of all, do you have an estimate of how much time you think the firefighters saved with the app you've created?
What is 2 parts. One is that they really consider it boring to go back to the office and sit and write these reports and try to think about it and so on. But yeah, maybe easily 2 hours per report. And I think the good thing is that they can keep us all safer instead of sitting there and thinking about the reports.
Excellent.
And do more inspections.
Yeah, good stuff. Yes, and we've got a question here about knowledge hoovers, which is also something that stuck out for me. Where do you see that AI makes the biggest impact with this idea?
The AI here is that it actually helps us to create the whole idea, and it goes there and look for the knowledge that you need to do, and you have an interview up front, and you get your personal little short roadmap, not the lake of things to dive around and swim around in.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And what do you think is needed to quality proof or truth proof AI generated content? I mean, that's a big topic right now with hallucinations.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, wow, yes. I mean, we are needed. I would say we have to be a part of this, somehow, and also. I mean, you see this, when you get things maybe to present and so on, you realize, all this is, AI created. It's just a lot of words. And how do we get away from that? I think we have to help each other.
Absolutely. A great point to end on. If there's any more questions that come in the chat, please, Katarina, feel free to answer them there. But thank you very much. We will move on now to our final speaker today, which is Gorki from Visual Arena. Gorki, take it away.
I'm super happy to be here and listen to these topics that are like super enlightening to me. I am a professional storyteller. I write and direct. So what I do is basically I either invent a story or I find a story in reality. And I work also as I work multidisciplinary in different film, theater. I've done some radio work also. I work at Visual Arena as a project manager. What I do there is that I involved in projects where storytelling is very important. And what I am exploring mostly now is immersive storytelling, VR, AR, mixed realities, and the impact within that. I love very much, Katarina, that the impact per hour phrase because as an artist, that's what you want. You want to write a little poem and have the impact on a human the rest of her or his life. And why do I do is because I find it very, very, so to say, effective on the so much is because storytelling has a huge impact in my life. And to tell you no more, the most important thing I have learned within learning is how to learn. For example, my father and my mother always taught me, if you learn how to learn things, how to channel your curiosity, then you will be able to do whatever you want, you know. And I have this small bottle of it's Paco Rabanne, it's a perfume that actually my father sent it to me, and it makes me think of, because the bottle is little and he had a big one, and when I asked him when I was a boy, can I get the little one, because it was his, then I have forgot this, but he remembered it, that he said no. So 40 years in the future, he sends this to me because he lives in Chile, because this was the way how I learned. When I found a small hammer, my father gave me the small hammer to me, and he said, the big hammer is for me, then you learn with the small hammer. So not being able to have this little bottle from him at that time must have been a trauma that I forgot. But now I am very happy, and I keep it very near because it reminds me of exactly that they they taught me how to learn myself. And how we did that, and how I do that with my kids, it's just touring and telling stories in forms of not only telling them how to do, but examples. And I have some examples that are like Margot talk about humor, that exactly about that, jokes, but also gossip. I believe it's a good example of teaching things. It comes out with a lot of warnings. Have you heard about this person that did this and that? Means don't do that. But also big like fables, stories that carries big moral ideas. That is super important. And when I usually, when it comes to professional storytelling, these are the questions that has to be answered. That is the why you tell a story, what are you telling, who are you telling to? Once again, when you all spoke, when Margot spoke, humor is not for everyone. So do you have to take care of the answers, because there are several answers to all of these questions. There is one question, but depending on what segment of the story. When is also a question. It's not about a question when you tell the story also, but also a question, when does the story take place? How is super important. Is it a verbal story, or is it is it immersive? And how you're going to tell it if it is immersive? Is it you talked about, for example, if it is linear, Johan, if it is linear versus if it is immersive. That is also a very, very important question, that if it is immersive, then you might not need linear, you need spatial thinking. And where, of course, is also an important question. Where in the sense of where are you be when you're gonna receive the story, and where is your character? This question also applies to who your character is. If you have a character, for example, that is going to carry your story. We are in a crucial, I would like to say, revolutionary time, because never in the millennial history we have in storytelling, we never had this. We still use these 7 elements that Aristotle wrote. It's like the plot is what is going to happen, the character that creates the empathy, the theme, what are you going to talk about, the dialogue, the language, how you express yourself, or the piece of story you're using. What do you accompany that with? Do you have music? How does it sound? Because music is super immersive. Of course, the spectacle, the visual impact, is it surrounding you, or is it on the screen? And for example, how does the room where you are, the teaching room where you're sitting? And maybe one of the things that is most important is the payoff. They called it catharsis, the Greeks. Is that, of course, there can't be a catharsis on every story, but is the catharsis that, when I think about emotional impact, is when you have this catharsis, when you actually remember it. And sometimes, have you guys had that feeling that you have seen a film, but you don't remember the ending, but you remember where you saw that film, who you were there with, and the feelings, and you even remember smell of that venue of the theater, or maybe at home. So, and that's what I am talking about. Also, of course, classical storytelling has a clear beginning, a middle, and an ending, and somewhere there in between, maybe a plot twist. And then another thing that classical storytelling has is a conflict, of course. For example, in the films that Johan was showing us, they have a very nice atmosphere, but they're also implying on a conflict. Usually what I do is also that kind of work, and I teach at Beckmans Designhögskola, where we teach people to use emotional storytelling to do that kind of communication. And but you're implying that there is a problem to solve. You need a big truck to solve that problem, without showing the problem, without actually highlighting the solution and the real nice feeling of driving that car. So that is the big question here, is how much effort do you put into the info or the feeling? And I don't have so much experience in corporate learning, but the experience I have is that there is a gap, and that's why I am into XR, because I see that in the immersive environment, you can go past several of the barriers you have in front of information, and with the help of some emotions, then you can make it more accessible. Your point is more accessible. You might not remember exact information, but you remember what to do, for example, in simulations. So for today, the tip of the day was to use a character to carry your story, your message, or an object, to have a personal approach. That is because the more engaged you are, the more you share, the more you are inspiring people to actually to listen to you. And if you feel funny, tell a joke, but then you have to be in the room to sense, of course, the people, and because there is something that actors, I am a trained actor, I am participating right now in Hundarna, it's the dogs, it's a TV series. So it's a very small role, but as an actor, you get spatial knowledge, of the room and how things are landing out there. And that for a teacher is super important. So what I'm doing now is combining all those things, and I run a lab at the Visual Arena. It's called the Narrative XR Lab. I'm gonna put in the chat, I'm gonna put a link to it. Also my LinkedIn, so you guys can contact me. And the lab is, we're looking for creators, but developers, designers, all the people that could be part of the creation group, but we're also looking for NGOs, because what we want is to see if we can create. It's a lab. It's a experiment. Can creators help NGOs to greater impact, but in a new way? So if the NGOs think they need a regular traditional film, then the lab is not for you. But if you think that an XR experience could help you reach a new audience or make them more aware of what the social problem is to take action and all that the lab is for those NGOs. So please, guys, if you know about any NGO that should participate, send them the link or tell me that you know someone that I could contact, and I would be super grateful for that. But also, you guys, it's open for you if you feel like, oh, I want to be part of the creation team. So read a little bit and send me an email if you have a question, or just apply. Thank you very much.
Super. Thank you so much for that, Gorki. It's great to get a different perspective from in corporate learning, to get the storyteller perspective. I think we're out of time for any questions, but then maybe there'll be questions in the chat that we'll send out afterwards. So I will just take back control and thank everybody for attending today. As a reminder, we're going to send out the link to the recording and all of the questions with their answers, which we will summarize. Thank you for all of our fantastic speakers. Thank you, everybody, for being here with your excellent questions. And it's always nice to see the community in the chat getting together and even answering each other's questions as well, without the speakers answering. So again, a reminder, if you haven't already joined the LinkedIn group for GLEN, please do so. The QR code is here on the left, and this is me on the right. If for some reason you wanted to connect with me, you can absolutely do so. I love to connect with people. And yes, thank you again, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone. Nice to meet you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.